Hi Pisces, welcome to your March 2025 AstroTarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. Check them out for all three so that you know which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That is just fine. Use your own discernment. And I also want to say happy damn birthday to you. If you are celebrating, if you are a March born Pisces, happy damn birthday to you. I truly hope you have a wonderful solar return. Remember to fill the day of your birthday with a little bit of everything that you want the whole entire year ahead to have in it for you. All right, so with that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. And remember, whenever I'm talking about astrology, I am talking about whole sign tropical Western astrology. For those of you that would like to know, those are the calculations that I use. And also remember, if I ever forget to give you the dates or the degrees of the transit, you will be able to find all of that in the link in the description box below. So the first transit that I want to look at for you is Venus is going to go retrograde in the sign of Aries, right at the start of the month on the 2nd of March. Venus goes retrograde at 10 degrees of Aries, right? So this is a retrograde in your second house of money, finances, your income, your resources, your self-worth. And really, if anything, this is encouraging you to really think about your relationship with money, to material possessions, but also with your own self-worth. How are your financial habits and your personal values linked? Are they linked in any way, shape or form? And if you've been with me long enough, you've heard me say it ad nauseum, how much money you can make and generate is directly linked to your self-worth and self-esteem. When you get one of those things up, to a good high level vibration, the rest will fall into place. It's really a time for you to assess your spending habits and patterns as well, and really to think about and how to create a more sustainable financial future for yourself. Venus as a retrograde, remember she rules your, Venus for you rules your third house of communications, conversations, it rules interviews, it rules your use of the internet, it's your skill set, your mind, and Venus for you also rules your 8th house of other people's finances and money. So it's a really interesting retrograde for you in that it's probably going to see you changing your professional path in some way, because Venus rules that 8th house of like shared income and resources as well, and that communication. You might find yourself renegotiating financial agreements with your work. Maybe you're revisiting ideas for income generation that you've created in the past. I will say be careful with major sort of financial decisions at this moment in time, and especially around major financial commitments. Those are things that you do want to be a little bit extra careful with at the moment, unless you were born with a Venus retrograde, in which case have at it. Venus retrograde is also like it might bring delays or potentially even where you start to second guess yourself around second house matters. Instead, I would say to you, like, focus on creating a healthier sense of self-worth and identifying what you feel personally truly resonates or matters to you. Now for this, you've got a judgment card, which is a new beginning in your financial energies for sure. As if that wasn't enough, you've got the 3 of Swords, okay, and you've got the Page of Cups. This is you breaking with your financial history. In some way, shape or form, this is you finding the courage to break out and go in a completely different or new direction. Remember, this transit, the transit itself is going to last until April the... Ooh, excuse me. I think it's about 6 weeks in total, right? And then on top of that, Venus then has to track backwards because she's going to reverse back into your sign, the sign of her exaltation. And then when she goes direct, she'll cross back out of your sign and back into Aries. So this really is a transit that speaks directly to your self-worth, your self-value, the value that you place on yourself, and where maybe your history has seen you have like a bit of a skewed sort of outlook on yourself. this is where you're really going to start to change that on a on what I feel is going to be a very heart-based level. So as if that wasn't enough, right? On the 12th of the month, Saturn is going to conjunct the Sun. This is Saturn going Cazimi. Now, this is happening in your first house of your identity, your self-expression, how you navigate through the world and how people receive you on that daily level is you and your ascendant. And really and truthfully speaking, your ascendant can speak to all aspects of self. This transit is really getting you to look at how you present yourself to the world, whether your actions align with your long-term goals. It's also because, remember, Saturn for you rules your 12th house, which is now host to Pluto. Saturn for you, excuse me, Saturn for you also rules Capricorn, which is your 11th house. So the gains from your business, your future higher goals, aspirations and dreams, and your deep past, and also your sense of cosmic connection. That's what Saturn rules for you. And then on top of that, the Sun in your chart represents your 6th house. So work is indicated here indirectly, if that makes sense. And as I say, you're definitely rethinking your longer term goals. Saturn's really helping you bring a sense of responsibility or a need to refine not only your personal boundaries, but also how you sort of move through that daily experience as well. Now, the conjunction is obviously going to highlight, because this conjunction is in a really nice tight trine to Mars, which is now finally direct in your 5th house. So you're looking at, yes, like things like your health routines, etc. But it's also a time for you to get really serious about creating the life, the body, the daily experience that you truly desire. And that Mars trine is really helping to bring a creative and emotional intelligence and resilience in that can help you really navigate the responsibilities of life with a lot of grace and ease. Now, grace isn't necessarily something that we associate with Mars, but it is Mars in Cancer. In a way, I kind of feel like this is you laying the foundations or the groundwork, if you like, for personal growth and helping you like really tap into the discipline that you need to achieve your goals. For this, you've got the 5 of Swords. It may come with a tough conversation. You've got this with the Knight of Wands, where there's something that you feel you need to prove to yourself. Now, you've also got this with the 7 of Swords. And so I am going to say there's potentially some kind of lie, maybe potentially, well, a lie and a deceit are exactly the same thing, but just different levels of severity. I gotta be honest, I feel like this may bring up, excuse me, whether this is like a friend or a family member, whether it is, a partner, there's something here where something comes to light and it potentially gets you quite sort of fired up for what has felt like it's held you back or held you down in some way. Maybe you kind of break free of some kind of shackle here, because remember, whenever a planet goes Cazimi, it's what I call a moment of divine ... right? So a Mercury Cazimi is what I call divine inspiration. So divine Saturn coupled with the Sun card would be what we call divine determination, or divine discipline, right? Or even divine delays, right? Or it could be all of the above. It'll be a very interesting moment though, because whatever is revealed to you at this time, I think it will have a lot to do with how you progress, forward on your future sort of trajectory. Now, on the 18th of the month, we're going to have the North Node come into a conjunction with the Sun in your 1st house. Now, the fact that you have the Sun in the North Node in the 1st means that you've got the South Node in the 7th house, right? So at this moment in time, what this tells us is you are having eclipses in the 1st and the 7th. Whenever we have the eclipse cycle in the 1st and the 7th, the 4th and the 10th, this is what we call the angular houses, and they tend to play out very literally, like where we see things really play out in stark sort of like, oh wow, okay, this is happening in my actual day-to-day experience. The North Node is a point of destiny, and it's in your first house. This hasn't happened for 18 years, and it won't happen. Well, you'll have one more of these next year in the same sign, and then after that you're done for the next 18 years again, right? Because it takes so in 9 years time you'll have the South Node in your sign, right? But in terms of the North Node, this hasn't happened for 18 years because it takes that long for the nodes to travel the zodiac. So it's a big deal. This is a moment of destiny. It's a moment of fate, and it's really centered around and focused on you. What do you want for yourself? What do you feel like you are obsessed with having at this moment in time? Where do you need to cultivate more dedication and determination to what you want for yourself? This is about stepping into your power, embracing your individuality and your self-cultivation in a way that you've never done it before, right? This might help you. It might even see you finding yourself attracting opportunities that feel like they are a part of your soul mission in some way. This is a destiny point, right? So it was such a big emphasis on your sign this month. The energy will definitely feel palpable. It's going to feel immense. And I will say, like, magic is definitely waiting for you. You just have to reach out for it. It could be a big opportunity, especially because the sun for you actually rules. It's not just life purpose, but it's the 6th house, right? So your daily work, the things that you want on that daily level, your physical health and vitality, your appearance, the work that you do, the value that you derive from it, all of that kind of stuff. And with so much energy that's happened, in your sign and that is happening for you, this is a time for you to align with your life purpose and also to find the illumination of your soul and your career. Like in your chart, this is, well, what I will say as well, you might find or feel that you begin changing in a really big or significant way that counts. Think about and acknowledge everyone and everything that shows up at this time, because it might be that they're playing what you would consider like a key role in your path, on your path or in your journey, right? Just trust that you're being guided to something greater and a brighter future. I feel that. 2 of Swords, definitely, with the Strength card, but you got to have the courage to follow it, right? This is the thing about astrology. It's the thing about predictions that a lot of people get wrong. They're like, oh, well, so-and-so said this, or the reading said that. Where is it? And they think that they can just sit on their arse and do nothing about it. No, you still have to take action. Unless you're expecting, everything, including that, wonderful partner that you want to come and literally knock on your front door while you sit on the couch. It ain't going to happen, right? You got to get out there. You've got to be an active participant in life in order for the opportunities to shape up and turn into something, right? There's a book by a guy called Wallace D. Wattles. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. It's a very old book at this point, and it's a very small book. So you can read it in probably within an hour if you're a good reader, maybe even less. And one of the things that he talks about in there, he says, the universe isn't going to give you more money just to do nothing. It doesn't support that kind of energy. The universe wants you to experience more life. And so if you have plans to experience more life on better terms, in better ways, and it looks like you do because you've got the Empress, right? Then the universe will bring you all of the riches that you so blessedly deserve and desire. But you've got to be doing something with it. If it's just to live exactly the same lifestyle that you're living now, it's not going to come, right? And there's a reason for that, because that's not more life. It's not more experience. And an important point about that, when we talk about experience, I'll never forget this, because my dad said something to me when I was like 14 or 15, and it really, really stuck with me. I was having a really difficult time with something, and he said to me, it's all just substance and experience. And it really, really helped me shift my perspective. I'm now 40 and I still remember those words, right? So it's a pretty profound statement if you can really understand what it's trying to get across to you. So what I want to say to you is, with such an emphasis in the 1st house and plus this North Node energy, You're going to feel it, you're going to see this, right? You're going to intuit it, but you've got to have the courage to pursue the Empress. What is the Empress? The best of everything that is possibly available to you. The Empress is Venus. Venus is a lady, darling. She likes all of those pleasures, right? The good food, the good wine, the good loving, honey, and all of the good stuff in between, right? And it's not just about the material side of it. It's about truly understanding that, there's that saying, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I really like that saying, right? I like it and I prefer it more than the YOLO, right? Because YOLO encourages people to be reckless because they think that oh, well, this is it. I'm only ever going to get the one, right? So I don't buy into that idea, but here for a good time, not a long time. That's the truth of it. 80 plus years, if we're lucky, it's really not a long time. Right? So if you're lucky, in a lifetime, you're going to get 80-ish summers. Do you not want to make sure that they are the best ones that you can possibly have? And that doesn't always have anything to do with money. A lot of the time, it's just about being totally present in the sensual experience that you're having. Okay. You'll find, well, not the final transit, on the 20th of the month, Neptune, your modern ruling planet, is going to go Cazimi. Now, this is a big deal as well. Why? Because it's the last one that we're going to have in our lifetimes. And it's definitely going to be the last one that you have in your lifetime, unless they figure out how to make us live to like 160. And even then, if you're watching this, you're probably around-ish 25 to 55. So unless they work out how to make us live to 200 plus in a very short space of time, it's not going to happen. So, and I say that because Neptune soon enough is going to move into Aries. It will come back in, and then in 2026 it goes into Aries again, full time, for good. By that time, the sun will have come back round into Pisces and Neptune will already be in Aries. So this is, although it's not rare because you get one a year, right? You've had 14 of these so far, but this is the very last one that you will have in a lifetime in your sign, right? Use it. It's, as I say, it's not a rare transit, but this is the last one. This is the last time. So use it for something, right? It feels like an instruction from the universe more than anything else, about a way forward or what your next steps are, right? And a transit like this is also going to remind you of the importance of your authenticity, right? Not by anybody else's standards, by your own. Neptune's energy is going to help you create or appear more charismatic, more captivating to people. Remember, it does blur the lines. So one thing that I will say with this, because remember, Marilyn Monroe had Neptune on the ascendant, and look at, right, we're still talking about her here in 2025. But what also came with that was everybody projected onto her the version of her that they wanted her to be. And so this is something that I want you to be really careful of at this time. For this, you've got the Star card. Put yourself out there, Pisces. With the 8 of Wands, love that. And the 6 of Wands, wow. The more you communicate at this time, the more you share with the world, the more you put yourself out there, the more interviews and jobs that you apply for, the more likely you are to find some level of success or amplification of your path. I love this, right? And with the Star card here, I would not be surprised if a lot of you end up taking some kind of course of study that has like a really spiritual element to it. Maybe you're taking Rafi's tarot course. I don't know. It would be lovely to have you. Maybe you are choosing to do something that has that much more sort of profound or future orientated energy about it, even if this is something in the technological sphere, which it potentially could be for a lot of you. But a long distance call or a Zoom call, and I will say, for those of you that have interviews over Zoom at this time, I have no doubt that you will get the position, right? So this could be very, very nice for you. Now, with that said, the last transit that I want to look at for you is on the 31st of the month. Neptune is going to move into Aries. By this point, this will have happened. this is something that none of us have ever seen in our lifetimes, right? The last time we saw this was about 150 plus-ish years ago. It's a pretty big deal, I would say. Now, what this says to me, Neptune's move into your second house of your money, your finances, your resources, your earning potential and income is going to see you start to dream big about your financial future, and it's going to align you to your resources, or to resources in general, with your spiritual self and creative goals in mind. It's a time for you to start tapping the universal or spiritual source for money, and to understand that your values and your sense of self-worth have to align with your spirit, right? So it's not enough to say like, well, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, that's fine. What's the spiritual inclination behind that? And more importantly, do you believe that you are worthy of that? Because if you're not, that's going to be another hindrance to it, right? If you've got money blocks, they are about to be revealed to you in a really big way. And I don't want this to upset you or frighten you. I actually want it to empower you, because once you see this, once you really understand that there is something in that regard present, this is where you'll be able to truly undo them. As Neptune is your modern ruler, the transit's going to encourage you to value your second house, yourself, Neptune, more deeply, right? So while Neptune's influence can inspire, it can and really inspire you as well to pursue resources in a much more meaningful way. It is a transit that speaks to you, potentially being a bit blurry around money. So watch out about what you're giving. Watch out for being too altruistic with the money that you have, to giving, to self-sacrificing, etc. You got to be really mindful of that at this time. For this, you've got the 6 of Cups, you've got the 7 of Cups, and you've got the Page of Pentacles. I want you to be really mindful of shiny object syndrome at this time, right? Just be really extra careful around this at this moment in time. Now, with that said, if you've ever wanted to study tarot with me, you can do so now. There are links in the description box below. It's 12 weeks, 12 live classes, 2 live client demos, 2 live Q&As. You get a live client demo, you get live client practice. As if that wasn't enough, you get more PDFs than you will care to have. And as if that wasn't enough, there are a bunch of other goodies as well, including bonus videos. Now, for those of you that say, Raf, love it, always wanted to study with you, but I can't make that time. I've got commitments, I work on that day, whatever the case might be. No problem. Rafi's got you covered. Now, for the first time ever, there is a Teach Yourself Tarot course that is fully automated. It's fully recorded, so you don't have to be anywhere at a certain time. You literally just study at your own leisure in your own home, right? So as and when you want. And with that star card and the 8 of Wands, which literally speaks to a correspondence course, right? I've always said that my live course is not a correspondence course. So if you're not interested in taking live classes, don't sign up to it, because it's not that. However, on the other side of it, you do have literally a pre-recorded course where you can literally teach yourself. All right, so if you are interested in that, make sure you have at it. So for your lunations, on the 14th of the month, you're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. This is a south node eclipse, right? And so this is happening in your 7th house of partnerships, relationships. It could be that a partnership or relationship is coming to a close. It could be that maybe you're finishing a business deal, right? It could be that you are finally launching a cooperative project of some sort. It may be a time where you start to consider, like, are your relationships really supporting your growth or aligned with what you genuinely desire for your life? Remember, a full moon lunar eclipse is a grand closing in some way. It's also an illumination of what is ready to take... Excuse me. Oh my gosh. It's also an illumination of what you're ready to move beyond. And it's also one of the other things with this, because eclipses change our direction or our destiny in some way. If you are single, now the seventh house is relationships of all kinds: personal, professional, platonic, familial. Anyone that you spend a lot of close one-to-one time with is a relationship of some sort, right? But what this says to me is that over the course of this eclipse, and as a result of it, you may find that your relationships start to shift. So if you're single, this could be a time where you meet somebody and it's the end of you being single. If you're partnered, yes, for a very select slice few of you, this could be a time where it suggests the end of the relationship. However, for a lot of you, it's going to represent a change in the relationship that sets it on a new path or a new trajectory. And so if you're in a relationship that you want to survive, it will need to adapt or change in some way in order to do so. And remember, whenever the first house and the seventh house are activated as an axis, this is an opportunity to balance what your personal needs are with the dynamics of your partnerships and relationships. For this, you got the gate 34 and power, and that's what this axis of eclipses is all about. It's really about you understanding the power that you have and making choices and taking actions that really align you with what is actually best for your soul or your desire for your soul at this moment in time. And this card is truly about finding what your unique personal power is. On the 29th of the month, you will have a new moon solar eclipse on the North Node. Now, it's just a partial eclipse, right? It's not a full one, and it's in your second house of money, finances, and resources. So all this work that you've been doing in your second house with Venus going retrograde there, all the work that you've been doing in that first house with, all the planets and the conjunctions and things that are happening there, this new start right at the end of the month and a partial eclipse in the second house is going to align you with a greater sense of wealth. It's going to see your earning potential go up. It's going to see the money that you make coming to you in some regard. And it will also start helping you bring I don't know. I feel like it'll also start to bring you a greater or a clearer sense of not only who you are, but the value that you're actually able to and do bring to the world just by being who you are. Now, you've got the gate 52 and stillness. Do you know what's really interesting about this? Add the numbers. 34 gives you a 7. 52 gives you a 7. 2 sevens in particular represents news, right? So I would wager that this new moon will bring some kind of financial news or announcement into your life. I would also say, when we're talking about the number 7, we're talking about introspection, to really understand or analyze something at a deeper level so that you can really take the wisdom from it and move forward with it. Now, this gate 52 stillness card says that this new moon is trying to show you something. It's trying to teach you something. And in order for you to... oh my gosh. Pisces, energy shifting all over, man. This is going to see you really prioritize yourself and your life, and I would not be surprised if it shifts or changes your world in some kind of really big way. The stillness energy is a message to say, just do what you do best and go with the flow. Let the changes unfold and then respond when you feel like you're ready. This is not a time for knee-jerk reactions. All right, so with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shows up. And again, happy damn birthday to you. I really hope you have a wonderful solar return. Take care, and I'll see you soon.